Welcome to TeikaTV. This week, I am your host. My name is Joe Doobie. I am the product manager here at Teikametrics. I'm lucky to be joined by Megan and Mike.
Thanks for having us, Joe.
Mike, what do you do here?
So I'm Partnerships and Business Development Manager here at Teikametrics. So I work primarily with our marketing partners, I work with our agency partners, and I work with marketplace partners like Amazon.
Awesome. And Megan, what's a typical day here for you?
Well, working with hundreds of different sellers on Amazon.
Awesome, yeah. Megan's on our customer success team, so you may have worked with her if you're one of our sellers through the expert chat feature or doing an onboarding. But we're happy to be here in Boston at about 3 p.m. Eastern today. At first, what we're going to do is go through some Amazon in the news, talk a little bit about what's happening, some headlines that we've seen from the past couple of weeks, and then we'll dive into the evolution of sponsored products. So the second half of the conversation, we're going to focus on new changes in Amazon over the past couple of months, how to market your brand, and where we see that heading in the future. So Mike, been a ton of news, obviously. Yep. Cyber Monday, Black Friday, we just got through those big selling days.
Yep.
What are some headlines that you've really been paying attention to over the past couple days?
Yeah, so there's a lot from Amazon launching in Australia. That was big this week. There's some news about Walmart, but going off of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, it's always nice to get context into what does that all mean. And I actually yesterday read the U.S. Census for Q3. So the Census Bureau puts out quarterly results on online retail sales, and it was just interesting to see like all this stuff happening with Amazon. It's still a tiny piece of the pie.
Right.
I think it was 9% of all retail sales are online, and I think it just goes to show that for Amazon sellers, and certainly the ones that we work with, it feels like everyone's being cornered in. It feels very competitive, but just to think like there's still a massive opportunity out there to take advantage of.
So yeah, over 90% of retail is still happening in brick and mortar.
Right.
That's pretty incredible, given every news article you just hear about how much Amazon is growing and growing.
Yep.
And they are. I mean, there's a great Bain holiday newsletter that they put out. I'd encourage everyone to go read it, but just a few highlights from that I thought were super interesting. Amazon over the past 3 years growing 30%, the rest of retail growing around 14% on e-commerce. So clearly growing a lot faster than the rest of the e-commerce sites out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I actually just got my bill. It hit my credit card this week for Prime, but I feel like it's the best $99 I spend every year. Are you guys both Prime subscribers?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and they're even expanding just more and more ways to actually, be more customer centric. Currently, there's 90 million Prime subscribers, so 60%-ish of households already have it, and it's clearly expanding.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things you think about in the holiday time is we were just talking earlier about package theft. One of our teammates was saying everything she ordered last December was stolen off of her doorstep.
Right.
But I actually just used for the first time the Amazon lockers that are in the Whole Foods.
Yep.
So there's a Whole Foods right by my apartment here in Boston, and I ordered something, got a barcode on my phone, went into the lobby, scanned the barcode, one of the doors pops open, and there was my package. It was super easy.
And it's secure.
And yeah, it's really helpful for people who don't necessarily can't get packages at their own apartments.
Sure,
yeah.
And I think it's just Amazon's not at being that everywhere company. You certainly see it with Walmart, with the acquisition of Jet, but if you think about Amazon for a second, Amazon Lockers is big. Treasure trucks have started to sprout in Boston, so those are daily deals that they have a certain amount of inventory, and they put out this deal that hey, the treasure truck's available in the Seaport area of Boston. But beyond that, there's also they're expanding their footprint into brick and mortar too. So if you look at Whole Foods and other companies around the holidays, Calvin Klein has a pop-up shop. Whole Foods is carrying Echo products and Amazon products. Best Buy is carrying Amazon products. So I think the opportunity just continues to expand, and that's why the Bain article is really important, because even where you start to hear all this news about Walmart, they're still 60 times ahead and still have 60 times more products available on Amazon.com than even Walmart has.
Yeah.
Amazon's currently, they're about 600 million and Walmart's about 40 million right now with the product selection. They are the everything store, right? So giving that convenience with the Amazon locker on top of the selection is huge combination.
Right.
So yeah, thanks everyone who's joining us live. I see a comment in there from Steve. How cool is that? I'm not sure exactly what he was talking about, but it's all cool, right? So yeah, I do encourage everyone to hit that like button, drop in a comment, let us know where you're joining from. And we want to keep this as informal as possible, keep the questions coming in, and we'll get some conversation going.
Yeah.
Sure. So let's stay on the topic of Walmart, because that's another name that's obviously coming up more and more these days. But this week they announced that they're going to be dropping the stores from the Walmart.
Yeah, I saw
brand
that.
name.
Yep.
So physical storefronts are there, but Walmart stores as a publicly traded company is changing just to Walmart. And I think, again, you think about Amazon being the everywhere store. Walmart's certainly behind them in a lot of ways, but they're indicating that they want to be everywhere as well. They want to be online.
They're trying to become more and more mobile friendly, trying to integrate their physical stores into the online presence, and basically from there they're even acquiring a lot of those stores as.
Yeah, I mean, over the past couple years, obviously Walmart's been super active in acquisitions. They bought Jet, ModCloth, Moose Jaw, Bonobos, ShoeBuy. So I mean, they're on a tear trying to keep up, and it's really interesting to see their strategy versus Amazon. Obviously, Amazon's way out ahead on the e-commerce front, but Walmart's not doing bad themselves. I mean, if I look over the past year, their stock price has climbed from $70 to just under $100 now. So, just under 40% gains over the last year. So Amazon's not the only winner in the space. Walmart's, trying to keep up as much as they can.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And if you think about total retail sales from Walmart, it's still 4 to 5% is online. So to think about them making a big decision to drop stores from the name and make a big presence on even Jet and Walmart.com, the future is looking pretty bright for Walmart to expand those doors for online retail.
And Megan, of the sellers that you're talking to, how many of them do you get a sense are also listing products not only on Amazon but on Walmart or Jet?
Oh yeah, I'm actually seeing a large percentage of sellers. They're actually starting with a portion of their portfolio and gradually building that in, kind of like they started on Amazon. And as they're seeing Walmart expand more and more offerings, especially around advertising, for example, they're more confident in listing their products there.
Yeah, and if anyone's listening and watching live, let us know if you have any experience selling on Walmart or Jet. We'd love to hear how that's going for you.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting too to think about retail today, especially now the barrier of entry. We'll talk about how Australia and Amazon launched this week as well, but it's crazy how now as an online seller or a merchant, you can skip the whole having a brick and mortar presence and go right to Amazon, right to Walmart. And we were joking about here in the lobby, like all these sellers have the benefit of piggybacking off of the brand name Amazon, relying on the trust of Amazon or Walmart or whatever other online platforms you're on.
Yeah.
It just makes it so much easier to get into the game.
Right. As a customer, when I'm buying something on Amazon, I have trust in Amazon as I know that they're going to fulfill my product in 2 days. I know that I can trust their customer service, so that there's not necessarily, as a small brand, I don't need to spend all that time and effort building up my own brand equity, because I am sort of under that Amazon umbrella and benefit from the investment there.
Yeah.
So Chuck just wrote in, if Walmart never responds to your long applications, any idea what to do? Great question, Chuck. I mean, I think Walmart is definitely under a lot of pressure to grow fast, and a lot of sellers want to diversify from Amazon because they don't want to be exclusively tied to one platform, right? They want to de-risk their own business and grow to Walmart. So I know that there may be a backlog there. I don't have any specific advice for what to do, but I mean, I would continue to try to get that application through the process, because it is a worthwhile thing to have your product across multiple platforms.
Yeah. And I think that proposes a pretty good debate too, especially as we dive into talking a little bit more about Amazon launching in Australia. But if you're a seller and you start on Amazon US, what's next? Are you thinking about expanding internationally? Are you thinking about Jet, Walmart, even Pinterest I've heard a lot about too. So like, what do you think, sellers? I'm in the camp of, dominating a channel first and then going laterally, globally, getting a presence there just because you're familiar with the system that you're using, the platform that you're using. But there's also the other side of it, like the opportunity. We continue to talk about Walmart. There's just a massive opportunity to get presence there to a different type of audience.
Yeah, and I think Amazon, starting out there as a channel to really build out your brand, Amazon's just providing a lot of areas where you can market your brand and actually compete with those bigger sellers. So we're going to go into a little bit later about the evolution, but there's more and more opportunities now for those little brands to emerge.
Omar, hello from Jacksonville, Florida. Jealous of the warm weather down there. It's definitely jacket weather here in Boston now, in the 30s or 40s, unfortunately. And Alex just wrote in with a great question. So do you think Amazon will adapt the advertising platform to keep up with Facebook, the retargeting capabilities?
Yeah, so absolutely, and they already have been doing that for quite some time. So there's Class 1 advertisements, which are used by very big brands. There's also AAP, which is fairly new in the last couple of years. But
and AAP is Amazon advertising platform?
Right. So that's their version of retargeting. But I think it is, as you think about where Amazon's heading and a lot of these sellers coming on to Amazon for the first time, it is giving them opportunity, sellers and vendors, to use different types of advertising because they're not the traditional, we were talking about like commercials, like they're not on commercials, they're not in magazines, they're not on other websites, but they're putting all their eggs into the basket that's Amazon, and now Amazon's giving them the capability to have banner ads, sponsored products, AAP.
Amazon stores.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome. So we talked, we've referenced it a couple times, but yeah, I mean, in the news, Australia, that's huge to get another geography to sell in. What are your thoughts there, Mike?
I think it's just really powerful in the fact that it continues to lower the barrier for entry for smaller sellers, right? So you now have the opportunity to just begin selling products on Amazon almost immediately, skipping out brick and mortar.
Right.
Australia is still obviously trailing behind EU and the US in online sales, but again...
But it's an interesting one for US sellers because it is an English-speaking country.
Right.
You don't have to do any sort of translation. I mean, a lot of the demographics are similar to the US.
Sure.
I mean, I know a lot of historical larger brands did a lot of product testing in Australia, right, before they launched in the US because it is a smaller market, but again, very similar. So it's going to be interesting to see, following that launch. I know I took a look. It did look pretty sparse in terms of what products were available, but it's interesting to see that continued growth globally.
Yeah, I mean, even with just India recently launching and all that success with Prime there, maybe we can see that in Australia as well.
Right, and we actually saw some articles too about Amazon incentivizing Indian sellers to actually sell products in the US, right? So they were looking to incentivize those Indian sellers who have access to cheap products and get it into the US market to continue to lower those prices to customers.
Right. And I think we're seeing that trend, lower priced products that are really high quality, they really thrive there. And they can definitely compete with those bigger sellers just because of, for example, those manufacturing efficiencies. I think that's the trend there.
Yeah, and I think Amazon sort of created that opportunity for sellers because it's not all about the big brand names. We talk about GoPro, Bose, but now you can have a a very good product, and having it on Amazon, you rely on customer reviews, you rely on the content, the A+ content.
Yeah, there was a great New York Times article actually just came out yesterday. I encourage you all to go search for it and read it. It's called it's all about the cheaper products that you're finding on Amazon. The example was the Wise Cam. So it was a $20 camera that you'd put in your, to watch your baby monitor or house security, whatever it may be, and it's selling for $20 compared to the Nest or the Netgear version, which was $200.
Right. It's crazy.
So can't get beat on the price of that.
Right. So I mean, it's 10 times cheaper, and they're not necessarily making a ton of money per unit, but they see the value in building their brand on and leveraging Amazon, because, like we said, they don't have to do all of the advertising or the negotiation with traditional brick and mortar retailers that Netgear and Nest are doing. They're going straight to the consumer. Maybe they're probably just barely breaking even on selling this first product that they came to market with.
Such a good point.
But they're really hammering the spend on advertising and paying really close attention. And the article talks about this in the New York Times, to their customer reviews, and that's something that brands who are building products and trying to compete best on price, you want to read those reviews and make sure that you're responding to any criticisms or positive things. What can you do more of that works well, and where are the biggest complaints, and how can you take that back to the product development and actually make a better product the next run?
That's typically a feedback loop we encourage a lot of brands to use, and we've seen a lot of success with that, especially with really seeing where the gaps are and setting customer expectations, which things like enhanced brand content can actually help with there.
Awesome. So what else you got for me, Mike? Anything else in the news recently? Are we ready to transition to the second half of the program?
I think we're ready to transition.
A lot in the news lately, though.
Yeah, there is, and I think we're going into it and talking about a lot in the news, and it is really incredible to think we're in the middle of it, talking about Amazon. It's literally in the news every day, and just to be a seller during this time is it's unreal.
Yeah.
I think it makes you want to be in their shoes, to have that opportunity to be able to be a part of history. I mean, we're a part of that by helping sellers in some way, but it just is incredible to be a part of it.
And it's only the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and if you are a seller and you're taking advantage of sponsored products, and we'll get to sort of that evolution momentarily, I do encourage you to take a look at our website. We have a free 30-day trial on our sponsored products optimizer, and this is a piece of software that we've had out in the market for about a year now, and it's been an incredible journey for us. I mean, the three of us have been at TeikaMetrics for over 2 years, and we started doing this sponsored product stuff manually. We were logging into Seller Central, feeling that pain, downloading reports, manipulating that stuff in Excel,
lots of Excel.
uploading it back in, adjusting our bids, downloading that search term report, tens of thousands of rows. So it's been an interesting journey for us to be doing that manually, and then see what the team here has been able to design and really create some efficiencies. We now have our bidding algorithm, which adjusts bids every single day based on the true value that bid is worth to you. And I just think back, to last year when we were manually uploading our bids, and think of how crazy it is that was the best process at the time. I mean, the API from Amazon just came out about a year and a half ago at this point. So it's all very new, and it's changing so fast.
Yeah, and I think it's cool, as we think about our own evolution as a company, also think about how we were managing sponsored products, what was at stake during that time. 2 years ago, I remember setting up campaigns, and it was all about automatic campaigns. You could set up an automatic campaign, and that was the strategy for at least a few weeks, gather that data.
Right, a lot of sellers just had one campaign with all of their products in it.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was just a big, it was just a one big, you know, okay, sponsored products is a thing. I'm interested in doing that thing, and here is my products, and now they're running.
And adjust things once a week.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you looked at it once a week, but over the past 2 years, it's obviously become a lot more competitive.
Sure.
And to really win, you have to be taking those steps each week and each and every day.
Absolutely.
To not be wasting money, because I mean, we saw cost per click, you know, that were historically maybe 25 to 50 cents. Those are definitely on the rise. So as there's more and more sellers, those bids are going to become more and more competitive.
Especially in some of those really saturated categories, as we're seeing, you know, sellers being smaller sellers coming in, especially maybe like you said, competing with the Nest, trying to undercut them.
Yeah, and I think it's crazy too. The more that these online marketplaces provide this opportunity, the more competitive it gets, and that's where you've really started to see sponsored products evolve, the platform itself, but also the strategies involved. So it's now you're moving beyond just an automatic campaign, and because every dollar counts as a seller or a brand on Amazon, it's you know, you want to put your marketing dollars in the right place. You're looking at it daily because every click counts, especially if you're paying $2-3 per click. I mean, that's your money.
It's your marketing investment, and now people are looking at advertising cost of profit. How is that affecting your overall business there?
Yeah, I mean, and the more sophisticated sellers that we're working with now are creating different campaigns based on an objective that may be shifting throughout the year, right? So if I set up a campaign during the holiday season and maybe I'm willing to spend more to acquire more customers as there's just more and more traffic on Amazon during this time of year, that may be not aligned with what I want to do over the summer months, right?
So depending on that product life cycle stage and seasonality.
Yeah, so by setting up campaigns that are, you know, not just one thing for all your products, but it's, you know, product specific, it's objective focused, so that you know, okay, I'm willing to spend, you know, 50% ACOS in the short term to get this product launched. But after a couple months, I can't afford spending 50% of my revenue on advertising.
Exactly.
I want to scale that back. So, you know, you're not just setting these things up once. It's a continuous evolution of always going in and fine-tuning, and you know, once you're at a different stage with a specific product, it makes sense to start a new campaign or adjust your bids drastically or your strategy there.
Right.
And Amazon's getting more and more data into sponsored products. I know we even saw page one bid come about, bid range.
They used to have an estimated page one bid that really we didn't find particularly accurate. But yeah, now they have a range of around like showing the 25th and 75th quartile, which gives you just some direction on where to start. But we always encourage sellers not to, you know, I think it's a good place to start to at least get some traffic, but you want to be adjusting those bids based on their performance and what you can actually afford based on your margins and what your ACOS target may be. So we got a question in. Hi, how soon do you plan to incorporate the new headline search ads in your optimizer?
Great question.
Great question. So as part of the evolution of sponsored products and Seller Central in general, so most sellers know AMS, which is the Amazon Marketing Services, is previously the only place where you could do headline search ads. So in AMS, you have headline search ads, you also have a version of sponsored products, and you have product display ads. In August, we saw Amazon open up headline search ads, and we've talked about this in the past, to Seller Central customers who are brand registered. So they no longer have to have a Vendor Central account or set up AMS. They can do that headline search ad right in Seller Central alongside their traditional sponsored products. I know we have more to talk about on that evolution, but specifically to the question around our optimizer, that's something we're working with Amazon on right now. So we're testing that API, taking a look at what those reports look like and what we can do, but you know, we are actively working on getting that out to you guys. I know it's something that everyone wants, is they see that success on the sponsored product side using the optimization software, and they want to apply that to headline search. So that's coming.
Sparkle placement.
So that's coming soon.
Yeah, and it's just a different type of marketing now. As an Amazon seller, if you're coming on to the online world and that's your thing, you're not doing brick and mortar, and maybe Amazon's your only marketplace, like you want to be trying out all these different placements on Amazon. So sponsored products is, on the right side, it's in scattered throughout search and sometimes on product pages. But headline search is that top banner that just says, hey, here's my product, here's my tagline too, or my
it gives you a lot more control, right? So you actually have some copy that you can actually edit. So sponsored products, all you have is just what products do I want to advertise, and it pulls in the photograph from the listing. There's no customization there at all. With headline search, you get 50 characters to talk about a tagline. You want to make that as clickable as possible, right? Make it very much related to the top searches for your products, and even mimic what people are entering into the search bar, right? If I'm searching for, a notepad and I have a specific type, white paper notepad, I want to see a headline that says white paper notepad. Sure. I mean, that if I see what I just searched, I'm much more likely to click into it. And click-through rate is really how we've been optimizing headline search ads, because you want to drive traffic to that custom landing page that you create with those products.
It's very much top of the funnel, building that brand awareness. And I think even the fact that you can now have lifestyle images on that ad, they recently changed that. That's a huge thing, just because customers are so visual. It's just going to help so much, especially with the branding.
Right, and we encourage everyone to get some testing done, right? Don't just set up one headline search ad and let it run and then turn it off if you're not happy with it. Test a different tagline, test a different image there, test a different order of those products, and see what works well. Again, one thing to keep in mind with headline search that we always talk about is it does have a longer attribution window. So typically with sponsored products, you have a 7-day window. Once someone clicks, if they purchase that product within a week, that ad gets credit for that sale. With headline search, it's a 2-week period. So do let those run for at least 2 weeks to see the impact and see if some sales trickle in, several days after that initial click. Because the goal there is to introduce the customers to your brand, let them know what you're selling on Amazon, even if they don't purchase right away.
Yeah, and there's two things that, as you're talking about, I'm thinking about how sponsored products has evolved in the last couple of years here. One is setting, the timing of the campaigns. I remember a lot of sellers would say like, hey, no, I just want this campaign running for 14 days. But now it's like, no, you want these campaigns almost running all the time. But now the additional or the evolution of that strategy is have it running all the time, but then like you said, have different strategies throughout the year, like maybe you're lowering bids during the off season, and turning it up during the
keeping
holidays.
that product visibility, especially if you're a brand.
Yeah, I mean, some sellers may have historically only used sponsored products during a launch, or only picked a couple of their products that maybe they weren't top sellers. But now we see more and more, everyone has coverage over their entire portfolio. That doesn't mean you're spending the same amount across all products. You could have very different objectives, but if you're not advertising your product, your competition is, and you're missing out on having additional placements throughout Amazon. So we always get the question of, if I'm ranking well organically, should I even bother advertising? And I say absolutely,
your competitor will.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, it's not just on the search results that you're showing up. It's you can be, with automatic campaigns, you can be on your competitors' pages. Imagine how powerful that is to have someone browsing your competitor's listing and they see your product and get drawn to that page and end up buying yours.
Sales away from competitors.
And sellers see these competitors in their search term report, seeing that they stole those sales, and I think that's huge, especially building that brand loyalty up.
The other thing that I was saying was, the first being the timing of the campaigns, but also is the importance of the search term data and the shopper data. So when you started sponsored products a few years back, it was limiting the data, but now having sponsored products active for longer periods of time, it has become evident that shopper search and customer search is probably, I'd say arguably, the most important thing to Amazon sellers, because you're being able to take advantage of what a shopper is searching for.
Yeah, and one thing I always think about, Amazon's never going to give you that organic data, right? So you're never going to understand what search terms result in those organic sales. So the only way to know how people are finding your products and what they're searching and what leads to the best sales rate or what you're spending a lot on that you think is relevant but doesn't result in sales is that customer search term data from sponsored products. So even if you aren't fully behind the thought of spending more money on Amazon, not only is it helping you drive incremental revenue, but the amount of data that you get access to is worth it to inform your product page listings and improve your organic ranking.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's definitely interesting to see sellers who have been on sponsored products for a long time, the evolution of how people are finding your products, seeing the trends in the searches. I think that's so powerful. And a lot of people are actually using that data in HSA or headline search ads, which is, I think, the combination strategy is really powerful together.
Yeah, and everyone's looking for that edge to be that much more profitable on Amazon and that much more efficient. And the shopper and the customer search term data is the answer to that, right? Yeah. So if you're finding those opportunities where sellers are searching for your products, that's your direct into a sale. So potentially taking advantage of those customer search terms, you have a better shot at lowering ACOS, you have a better shot at growing your bottom line profitability, and the third is sales in total. You're putting what the shopper is searching for, and then you're placing your ad right there for them to find.
We did just get a question in. How exactly do I sign up for Amazon Advertising Platform, or AAP? Do you know how to do that, Mike?
Yeah, so we can reach out to you directly and help you with that.
Awesome. So it does look like we just are about at 3:30. So I want to thank everyone for joining us on this conversation. It's been a lot of fun on our side, covering some of the news topics, talking through the holiday shopping season coming up. I wish everyone the best of luck in these final days of shipping before Christmas. I know I still have some shopping to do. I'm not sure about you guys.
Use Amazon.
And yeah, let's keep the conversation going on our Facebook page. Please do engage with us. And if you are a seller looking for some help, please sign up for our 30-day free trial. Would love to work with you and have you give us a shot. So thanks, everyone. Join us next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.